Hello and welcome to the Hospital Rooms Digital Art School. You're about to watch a fabric block printing workshop with South London-based designer Kay Davis. You'll find all the materials that you'll need listed below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel.
Hey, my name is Kay Davis and I'm going to be doing a digital workshop for the Digital Art School with Hospital Rooms today. I'm an artist, so I paint and illustrate, and I also do textiles design, but today we're going to do some styrofoam printing and block printing. So for me, I love to storytell and I like to create a lot of patterns, and even though I do a lot of different things, what ties my work together is the storytelling aspect and the objects that I use and the motifs. So hopefully when you do yours, you can have your story tie into your work as well. Yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so the cool thing of this workshop is that we're going to be doing it on fabric, which means that you have options. If you wanted to customize a t-shirt, customize a tote bag, create fabrics or anything, this would be your chance. And you know, if you decide you want to use paints instead, you can do that and do it on paper. But what's nice is that I'm going to show you like sustainable ways that you can use materials that you might already have at home to create something that will last a bit longer. And because we're doing it on fabric, we're going to be using block printing ink. So I'm going to show you an example. This is one with a couple motifs of like hair bubbles and clips. And for me, because I already have drawings that I do with my paintings, I'm going to use like some of my illustrations for inspiration. But then you might have something at home that you might want to use that tells your own story. And the materials I'll be using for this, which you might need, is paper. So if you want to draw anything, it's nice to get line drawings down. I'm going to be using styrofoam, like polystyrene sheets. Again, sometimes you might find that if you have packaging at home and you've just bought something new, it might be in your packaging, or you might find it on paper, not paper, but styrofoam, yeah, styrofoam plates, or yeah, just things that protect stuff, and even food packaging. And then I've created some block printing sheets, which you might, again, find styrofoam at home, or you might have pre-made sheets, which is nice. Blocks, not sheets. And then I'm going to be using some block printing ink. You can mix some up if you wanted to change the colour. I've created quite a few colours. Rollers, which is nice. Because I don't have a tote bag or a t-shirt, I'm going to be using calico, which is also cool because you can turn it into something else. Quite cheap, so I'm just going to be using a paintbrush to mix my stuff. And because we're going to be doing styrofoam printing, it's nice to create lines that are going to stop your... basically, when you're doing styrofoam printing, anything that you draw doesn't show, so it comes up in white, and then the colour that you put on will show the illustration. So I'm going to be using a pen or a pencil to draw my illustrations on this. And there's a pre-made one that I've done already. And then you might want water. You can, if you've got warm water or a close sink to you, that's cool, or you can put water in a bucket. You might want some tissue or paper towels or a cloth just to keep things tidy. And also, I would recommend maybe putting newspaper down or wearing like something that you don't mind getting dirty because it might stain. So I've got some illustrations that I already have, which I'm going to turn into line drawings. So we've got a character here, we've got some hair bubbles, hair clips and stuff. And another thing that's quite cool is that I like to repeat patterns. So even on the one that I've done already, I like to create towels that kind of I can repeat and I can print. But then also, if you're at home and you have like a illustration that you just want to keep repeating, maybe it's worth using tracing paper just to go over it so you can repeat the shape. And also, if you have anything with text, anything you print is going to reverse. So if you have text, you want to maybe use tracing paper as well. So I've got some illustrations that I've already started. So with the hair clips, I've done these. And then with the bubbles, don't worry too much about having perfect lines, because the more lines that you do is the more cool your print will come out as. And it's more about just sharing your story and sharing the things that matter to you. You don't have to worry about your illustration being perfect. If you make a mistake, just go over the line. That's cool. But it's nice to practice on paper before you go onto your sheet. So yeah. So I think for my printing towel, I'm gonna have, probably gonna create a pattern with hair clips. And I'm probably gonna wanna do more than one printing towel so that I can make something like this, where you have different colors. So you might wanna also, with your block prints, you might wanna use more than one color because it makes it a bit more exciting. Okay, so with the reason why I like to draw stuff like hair accessories is because they really remind me of my childhood and how I would dress up, and even like having like my Sunday best on, Mum would always have my hair done, and yeah, it's quite nostalgic and it just reminds me of my childhood and also how I celebrate my culture and my heritage. So you can use pencil on your styrofoam sheet, but I like to actually use pen. One, I'm a bit blind and it helps me see a bit better, but also I like the way it engraves in the sheet. And one thing I like to do is repeat patterns. And another thing as well, if you struggle to like pick an idea or something to draw, sometimes maybe just play with patterns and lines. As long as you're making marks, that's all that matters. But then if you can tell a story with the images, that's even more fun because there's more to play with. And if you've already got pre-made like block prints or printing towels, then you can even play along with the themes that you already have. So I've done my first towel and I'm gonna do my second, which is probably gonna be completely opposite to this. I'm gonna use contrasting colors anyway, which is cool, but I think it's nicer if I think about, this is quite overcrowded, so I'm gonna keep it simple and just have one big pattern in the middle or like motif. So I'm gonna use one of the illustrations I've done already. Probably gonna change it a bit, but it's nice to have an idea. So yeah, so I finished. I've got my 2 sheets. I think I'm just gonna be extra. That's a little shiny bit from the metal. I'm just gonna pretend that's shiny. So yeah, those are my illustrations that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna decide, if I decide to put a block print on top, but I have the options of these, and I might, I think I'm gonna do 2. I think I'm gonna use a hair bubble as well. It's quite similar. I'm gonna get ready to do my prints. If you're customizing a t-shirt or you're customizing a bag or something that's quite precious, it's always worth doing like a test run as well. And I would recommend a few things. If you leave it to dry, you have a bit more options. But if you're printing all at once, I would start with the lighter color first and I would stick to using the same color in the same towel. Otherwise, the colors get mixed up unless you intentionally want to mix your colors. But I suggest for this, sticking to one color, keeping it simple, and then as you layer up, then you can use a darker color. As mentioned before, if you struggle drawing freehand or you want to make a print, sometimes it's nice to use tracing paper as well, so you can trace over your illustration and then transfer that onto the printing block. And also I think it helps you think about like placement and composition. So before you even put it down, you might want to just play around with composition, and wherever there's space left, then you can add another part in, which is cool, and then you get something like this. But I'm going to do it with the drawing that I already have with tracing paper. When you draw on to the polystyrene sheet through the tracing paper, the colours might not show from your pencil, it might not show from your pen, but it's going to engrave a mark, and you're probably going to want to go over it again after you've finished, or even as you go along. But if you do it as you go along, just keep your hand on the paper and then keep going back and forth. So there's some that's already done, but if you want to create a pattern, you can just start thinking about placement. You might want to change the shape in the opposite direction, or change the illustration in opposite direction, or you might want to add little bits onto it. You might not want to add the full thing. So I think I'm going to reverse it. That would be another printing tab. Okay, so we're going to do some block printing now. This is the fun part, and it's actually quite quick. If you want to mix your colours, that's cool, but whatever's on your palette, I would stick to it. For this, I'm going to use green, but I kind of want it to be a bit lighter, so I'm just going to mix, well, some already pre-made mixed ones that I had. I should have probably mixed it in the pot, but it's fine. So also, when I'm printing, sometimes I cheat, and instead of using my hand, I just use an extra roller to print the back to make it even, but you can use your hands, that's fine. I think I'm going to do this one in a lighter colour, so that if I want to do a styrofoam print, one of these ones, I can do it on top. So I think I'm probably going to make two different prints. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm probably going to use the hair bubbles in another colour on top to show you. And you can layer as many prints as you want, but I would start with the lighter colour first. Now when you're rolling, I wouldn't just do a dollop and then roll it on the styrofoam, because it's gonna anything that you draw ends up negative, and if you put too much on it, then it's not really gonna show. And I think this is probably why you should do a little trial run. Now, once you place your towel down, you're not gonna wanna have to move it, because if you move it, it's not gonna show your print. So once it's down, you have to really strategically place it, so once it's down, that it doesn't shift. So I think because I wanted it like a towel like this, I'm gonna basically place it to the left. You can place it either way that you like, but I'm gonna be strategic, and I'm gonna put it in this corner, and I'm gonna put it in this corner. But whilst I'm doing it, I'm gonna put the first towel down, I'm gonna keep it down, and then do my next one. So you can press it with your hands, but because I've got an extra roller, I'm just going to make life a lot easier. And roll it down. And then I think for the next one, I'm going to do red. Now, when you're printing at home, I think it's important to have something underneath, like newspaper, or maybe an old cloth or something, or paper, just so that you don't ruin your table or the material that you're working on. This is already down, so I'm just going to stick the towel next to it. But once it's down, it has to stay down. Now, when you're lifting it up, you might want to hold the fabric down and just peel it from the top. So I could probably put a bit more ink on it actually, but it's fine because it's a trowel. That one was nice. And the good thing with this is that you can also use it as a background, and even with this one, even though the print didn't show, it's nice that it's a lighter colour because I can still go over it with something else. So I think I'm going to go over these two with another bubble. So again, I'm going to plan where I want to put my placement. And I think, because I want it to stay inside the box, I'm going to go sideways. Cool. Okay, so these are some other examples that I've done already. And if you see what I mean about having a lighter colour and a darker colour on top, with this one the print showed a bit better, which was nice. And have other illustrations that I had used. I think this one might be my favourite actually. So I'm Kay Davis. Thank you so much for coming to my workshop. I hope you enjoyed the digital art school and I look forward to seeing everyone's designs. Thank you.